One of the great challenges with the second season is the world just expanded enormously, and we're journeying to all new locations.
The challenge of this show is you constantly get to realize new places, and you constantly get to round out the world and give a much greater sense of the complexity of the world the story takes place in.
The great fun of this show is that you're not just recreating any one historical period. Each world is new, and we want to keep it varied and fresh.
There's nothing that really gives you a greater sense of scale and scope than the actual locations. So Gemma had just as much work to do this year as she did last year, maybe more.
Somebody who worked on last year sort of commented that, oh, this is going to be a doddle this year. They've done all the work, don't worry about it. It's huge this year, but I think we've done some real magical stuff.
Every location we go to, every set we have is just breathtaking.
The sets on this have always been incredible, and it just helps so much as an actor to have that, because you don't need to do that work. It's all there for you.
We pick up season 2 with the Night's Watch approaching Craster's. Craster is a wildling who's worked with the Night's Watch before.
You've been wanting to sleep beneath my roof, I suppose. The roof will be welcome in hard riding.
It looks very, very authentic, and like a place that you could never imagine yourself ever kind of going to. It was in the middle of the forest. There were skulls everywhere. It was really eerie, and that's absolutely perfectly authentic.
It was totally built from scratch, all out of proper big round tree trunks. There's nothing sort of setish about it, it's solid. You know, when you're using all real textures, it's all real leather and real skins, real timber and huge, great big flat-headed nails.
The sets on this have always been incredible, so I've kind of got used to it, you know. I sort of turn up at Craster's Keep and went, oh yeah, that's good. It was amazing, it's beautifully built, the detail within it was fantastic.
All you lot from south of the wall, you southerners. But now you're in the north, the real north.
What kind of fire melts stone?
Dragonfire.
Harrenhal's kind of a haunted castle. It was built to be the greatest castle of all Westeros, but poor Harren did not account for dragons when he was fortifying it.
Harrenhal is supposed to be this absolutely vast, vast castle, even though it's a total ruin. That's a huge thing to do. And it's a tricky thing because all the walls are crumbling and everything, and that's much harder than just putting up straight walls everywhere.
You can see that it used to be a great castle and it used to be undefeatable, and now there's big ledges that sort of just go to nowhere. It's kind of creepy, but kind of cool too.
Stannis Baratheon, whom we have not met, is Robert's middle brother. Stannis lives in Dragonstone, an amazing dragon-themed fortress on the southern cliffs.
For Dragonstone, we've got a huge dragon on one wall, as if it's carved out of the stone of the rock. We built this table, which is like a huge map, and it's all inlaid with forests and castles, and you've got the wall, and it's pretty gorgeous. Pike is the Iron Islands, and we found this fantastic harbour up on the north coast, a place called Ballantoy. Pike itself is like this huge castle that was built on like maybe a rocky outlet, and then the idea is that over the centuries it's falling into the sea.
They live on an island and it's remote, so it's a very brutal certainty of life on Pike.
Baelen's Chamber is a great set. They've just built this huge room with a big Kraken fireplace. It's just amazing, the sort of scale of it.
The whole place was hung with tapestries, very, very, very destroyed and kind of aged. I have to say they were exquisite.
We are the 13, charged with the governance and protection of Karth, the greatest city that ever was or will be.
Karth is a fabulous city on the edges of Essos. It's not supposed to look like any of the cities of Westeros. It's a kind of an oasis city.
You are introduced to this strange new kingdom of wealth and decadence.
It's right at the end of the Redways. There is nothing else around. There's only one way you can get into the city, and to be allowed through the gates means survival, and to be turned away means instant death.
The journey through Qarth and the gates of Qarth was quite a difficult thing to achieve here in Croatia. We found a beautiful position to put up our wall and our gates. We made the gates in Ireland and brought them over. Obviously we built the wall here, and I've got this fantastic scenic painter, and he painted all those beautiful animals and wild creatures, and it worked.
You start thinking you know this place, it'll kill you. We're at war. We've always been at war. It's never going to end because we're not fighting an enemy. We're fighting the north, and it's not going anywhere.
Being here in Iceland, it really helps. It helps you to get into the heads of the characters of the Night's Watch and what they have to put up with. Because it's barren and it's desolate.
Iceland just has this almost otherworldly look to it. It looks like nowhere else in our world, and ideally like nowhere else in the world we're creating here. As the name implies, it's just perfect for anything north of the wall.
I just knew that we needed to find places where not a shred of anything modern can possibly exist. There's rock and ice and snow.
The Fist of the First Men is supposed to look as if people have been using it for going back thousands of years. Not constantly, but it's been used as a fortification by the first men.
With this show, you come to expect a level of detail and scale that you wouldn't on other things, especially not TV.
The farther we get to go with it, the more real and lived in the whole universe of Game of Thrones is gonna start to seem.
I think it's going to be an incredible journey for our audience.
It's created a world in my head that's just I can't shake, which is a testament how good the show is.